This lens that I'm shooting on right now is hands down my favorite lens for creating YouTube videos. The Canon RF 15 to 35 millimeter f2.8. This stays on my camera 90% of the time, and for good reason. It's ultra wide, but it doesn't distort faces. It's fast at that f2.8, and it's got image stabilization built in. This lens is an absolute workhorse for anyone serious about video, whether you're vlogging, filming cinematic B-roll, or just shooting in tight spaces and you need a little bit wider shots. Even real estate photography, this covers a lot of different ranges on this lens. But let me tell you, if you're not using it right, you're missing out on the best that this lens has to offer. In this video, I'm breaking down 3 common mistakes that creators make with this lens and how to fix them and get the best possible quality out of it in your videos. The first big mistake is that you're shooting way too close to your subject at 15 millimeters. I get it, the ultra wide look is awesome, but if you're filming people, whether it's yourself or someone else, getting too close at 15 millimeter distorts your facial features and things. It makes your nose look bigger, your forehead stretches out. It's just not flattering. A better way to use this lens, if you're vlogging, keep the camera at arm's length. If you're filming someone else, step back a little bit, and if possible, zoom into 24 millimeters or 35 millimeters. Even just bumping this up from 15 when you're a little bit closer will give you a little more natural look in your video. So if you're wondering how to get a little more natural look in your videos, even just a little bump from 15 millimeters will make the difference, just like that. You can see this is like 15, 16, 17, 18, maybe around there. This is full 15. Mistake number 2 is not using an ND filter when filming outdoors. Since this lens has a constant f2.8 aperture, it's great for low light, but that also means in bright conditions, your footage is gonna be blown out if you don't control your exposure. You might crank up your shutter speed to compensate, but that just makes your motion look a little choppy and not smooth in your videos. And the fix for this is to get an ND filter. That helps you keep that cinematic 1/50th or 1/60th shutter speed at double your frame rate and still get perfect exposure, even in harsh daylight, like this. So if you need recommendations, I'll link my favorite NDs in the description down below, ones that I've used, and the current one that I'm using right now that I think is super efficient for your workflow when filming. And mistake number 3 is not optimizing your stabilization settings. Right now, I don't have the lens stabilization on or the in-body camera stabilization. Now with a wider angled lens like this, you're not gonna notice it as much, but you're still gonna see some of that wobble. This lens has a built-in lens stabilization right there, which is amazing. But if you're also using in-body image stabilization, let me flip that on, then you're gonna get a little bit better look. But make sure that you're careful not to crank your stabilization settings up too high. My camera has 3 different settings. It has off, it has the main stabilization mode, and then it has an enhanced mode. If I crank it up too high, you're gonna get a weird warpy wobble effect when you're shooting at 15 millimeter, especially when you're walking around. Now fix is, if you're using a tripod or a gimbal, you can turn off the lens stabilization because you don't need it when the camera is locked off on a gimbal or a tripod. If you're shooting handheld, try to use the standard stabilization mode on your camera instead of the enhanced one for smoother results. And if you're vlogging and getting too much shake, just use a stabilizer adjustment in editing, and that can help compensate for it. Or maybe you just need to work on the technique of holding your camera. If you use a heavier camera setup with a pro body mirrorless camera with a bigger lens like this, you'll probably get tired faster, and that'll cause it to shake around a little bit more. You may just need to work on keeping your arm fluid with your walking pace or your body movements to keep that camera steadier. So there you have it, 3 mistakes to avoid when using the Canon RF 15 to 35 millimeter f2.8. If you're using this lens right, it's an essential tool, a go-to for your video making. Just don't shoot too close at 15 millimeters Use an ND filter in bright conditions and make sure your stabilization settings are dialed in. Let me know in the comments if you've been making any of these mistakes and if you'd like to see another video on this lens. That's it for this video. Like and subscribe if you found it helpful, and check out the links in the description for the gear I mentioned, and I'll see you in this video next. But let me tell you, if you're not using it right, you're missing out on the best that this lens has to offer.